Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, March, hell, I don't even know, 15th, 16th. So we are full-blown into Corona chaos here in Jackson, Mississippi. The mayor today at a press conference, because he couldn't just release a statement, got to get in front of the cameras, is going to announce that he has signed a declaration of civil emergency, banning all public gatherings of more than 50 people. Bars, restaurants, schools have been closed. This is going to cripple our hospitality industry. Especially bars and restaurants, locally owned. I've got a ton of friends, after spending nearly 20 years in that industry myself. I've got a ton of friends who are going to be gravely affected by this. And on the Save Jackson page, there's a post that just says, tag a friend or a business owner that works in that business, service industry, or whatever industry is locally owned. And a lot of these guys are making adjustments to their normal way of doing business to help accommodate you guys. Walmart, Walgreens, all those places, man, they could survive this. They're billionaires. You gotta support local, buy local during these times like this. Even if it's calling your favorite restaurant, I guarantee you, if you ask, they'll bring your food out to the curb. You won't have to come in. I know guys like at Lance at Capitol Grill, my friends out at Wendell Steakhouse. I'm sure all those restaurants in and through downtown, Fondren, North Jackson, Pearl, Darwell's To Go out in Pearl. I know they're it's a to-go restaurant. That's the kind of stuff I would focus on. I just saw where CHICK-FIL-A, it's getting bad. When CHICK-FIL-A issues a statement letting people know that the inside of the restaurants have been closed. The drive-thru will be open, and I read something about maybe their app and their to-go stuff, so maybe you can still go in and get it to go, but the dining room has been closed. I'm not 100% sure how I read that. So today's video, the main thing I want to discuss is try not to let the pure panic of all this set in. I'm on my way to work. I'm in retail. Most of you know I'm in the car business. We ain't closing. The only way I'll miss any work is if I get sick and can't go to work. A lot of the restaurants and bars, they're the same way, man. These people live hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, like most of Americans do. I saw where Campbell's Donuts. Let's talk about a great locally owned business down there in Belhaven. These guys don't even know that they know me. I almost sold them a car when I was selling Hondas a couple years ago. Love that family, husband and wife. I can't remember their names. I don't think it's Campbell. I think they bought that and just kept the name. But anyway, they are setting up a GoFundMe to get together to help feed kids who might not be able to eat because of the shutdowns from schools or whatever the case may be. Their heart's in the right place. They're doing the right thing. If you want to donate 10, 15 bucks, $5, go find them on Instagram or Facebook. It's Campbell Donuts down there in Belhaven. And I want to say they have a location in Madison too, but I think it's one social media account for all of them. So Campbell Bakery or Campbell Donuts, great locally owned business doing what they can to try to help people out. Getting on the interstate here, so my car is a little loud. All right, so back to the mayor. I don't know why he felt like he had to do a press conference and he couldn't just do a press release with everything broken down. This is it, cut and dry. Aren't you basically going to violate your own public gathering rule with having 50 people in there for the press conference? I digress. What are we doing today as far as kids go? How is that affecting y'all? With kids being out of school. I know mine is a senior this year, and with this CDC ruling of 50 people, no gatherings of more than 50 people, I'm afraid that my child's not going to get to have her senior graduation. And like anybody who has a kid that's made it this far, you know, I didn't graduate high school. I went straight to Hines, you know, so my parents didn't get to see that. So I was really, really looking forward to get to see my daughter walk across the graduation stage and get her diploma. You know, are they going to hopefully have a summer graduation event for these 2020 seniors that aren't getting to walk across the stage as planned? I know Hillcrest, where my daughter goes, they're moving their classes online, so this isn't an extended spring break. So I'm guessing the clarification on that is they will still graduate on schedule. They will not have to be back in school for summer school to make up for this lost. Right now they're calling it a week, but I don't know how you can do a week when everywhere else is closing for weeks and months at a time. You know, how can we sit there and say our kids, our most precious thing on earth, you know, our future, literally, it's okay for them to go to school and be around 50 or more people. You know, I think the CDC has backed the school districts into a corner with this recommendation of social distancing of 50 or more. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how all that unfolds in the next few days. I know every sporting event's been canceled. Every business is doing all they can. You know, and my opinion is, I think it's mostly to avoid litigation if somebody gets sick. You know, I just do not find this virus that serious from a actual illness standpoint. I know there's a couple rare cases here and there. A lawyer down in New Orleans that was partying, 45 years old, 50 years old, something like that, and is gravely ill. You know, they say he had no prior medical conditions. We'll keep him in our prayers, and we hope that is an exception, not the rule. You know, and hey, you got to have some self-responsibility too, right? Something like this going on, you haul ass down to New Orleans and party on Bourbon Street in close quarters with people like that, man, you know, I've done it a million times. I'm not knocking anybody, but you also have to say to yourself, is maybe this a bad idea? You know, is maybe going on a cruise right now a bad idea? You know, if you're concerned, or even if you're not, you know, be aware of the people you may come back around. You know, you may catch it, may not get sick, but you may still give it to somebody else. So it's really tricky how all this is playing out. My last video, I forgot to mention about the St. Patrick's Day parade getting canceled. How? I forgot that. But in this 24-hour news cycle, with all the chaos that's been unfolding, that feels like that happened a month ago. You know, that was all funny, you know, people flipping out over a parade, but now everything's affected and closed. It's not just big entertainment stuff. You know, it's crazy, guys. The world we're living in, you know, it feels like economic terrorism has hit America via China. You know, they finally figured out a way to get us. And we have gone into pure panic mode, shutting everything down and changing our day-to-day lives. You know, and I see everybody raising hell at the federal government. I mean, look, it is not their job to constantly take care of us. I mean, I won't qualify for any of that money, you know. So I'm just saying, just try to take care of yourselves. Quit buying all the toilet paper. Try to get you some dry foods. I mean, if this thing does last a couple months, yet to be seen. But, you know, places like Walmart, Costco, Sam's, Kroger, man, these guys are in the disaster relief, selling us a bunch of stuff business. Just because your store is out right now does not mean there's a nationwide shortage. You know, there's a right now shortage. All right, well look, 10 minutes is enough of me running my mouth this morning. Get out and support a locally owned business if you can. It may cost you a few dollars more at the end of your grocery bill to support, say, an Allen supermarket in Brandon instead of Kroger. Vile's grocery store in Byram. You know, I live in South Jackson. I can't think of the ones named out in North Jackson that are locally owned, but try to shop at them. You know who's locally owned and who isn't. Brandon Pharmacy. I think Polk's Discount Drugs are all locally owned here in Mississippi. You know, if you got to move your pharmacy, move your medicine to a locally owned pharmacy. Anything you can do. If you know a locally owned gas station instead of a big chain, spend your money with them. I can't say it enough. Locally owned restaurants, the service industry, the people who depend on tips, man, this is going to hurt them the most. You know, maybe when all this is over, you know, we can get the Save Jackson crew together and we can do a fundraiser somewhere. I know we had one planned for, you know, Capitol Grill, but maybe we can make that for the service industry. I don't know. I mean, we don't know when this is going to end, how bad it's going to get before it ends. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves trying to plan something and have to move it 10 times or, you know, whatever. But look, be sure to check me out online. My social media, my personal social media is all Clay601, and the Save Jackson social media is all Save JXN. Check us out. Check out our YouTube channels. I'm uploading content every day. I've got a bunch of good stuff in the can. I'm just finishing up a little bit of editing on it, and it will be available over the next few days. You know, thank y'all. Stay safe.